but I hope you actually take something and just like just one thing and actually execute. There's a sign above me here right now that you can't see, but it says ready, fire, aim, because I think most of us get caught in aiming a lot. And I see some smiles as I say that. And so maybe you know that person intimately, but we get stuck in paralysis by analysis and never actually take action. So my macro thesis on business and specifically content creation is get out there, just fire and start pulling the trigger on all the different types of mediums that are out there that us humans like to consume content, i.e. video, audio, the written word, as well as images, and then aim. The sign says ready, fire, aim. Some people that watch my content, they're like, yeah, but then you're not going to be strategic. And when do you ever adjust? I'm like, well, just read the sign. It says aim as well, but aim after you fire, because then you can adjust along the way. Did you hit the target? Like, are you too high off the target, to the left, to the right? So that's kind of where I like to start in terms of what Jaime was mentioning about the way that today's going to go. I mean, please feel free to unmute. I'm probably best at rapid fire. Just, it's what I tell my clients all the time. Just stop me, throw questions at me. And then at some point today, I'll make sure that you get access to, I have nothing to sell you, by the way, guys. You know, I should probably start there. Unless you're thinking about investing into Toronto real estate. Other than that, I have nothing to sell you. I'm going to try my best to provide as much value as I possibly can. I think you're going to get most value by rapid firing questions at me, but by the end of today, I'll give you access to my internal resources that I share with my team, just for some context purposes. And I think my mom likes to hear it more than anything else. I'll talk a little bit about what I do and what my team does. So I've been a practicing real estate agent now for 16 years. Sales and service for 26 years right now. I think, you know, I never stopped selling when I was asking my mom for milk. Like, I just never stopped. It's in me to be the salesperson that I am. I got my first job as a newspaper. You know, I'd knock on people's doors at the age of 12, asking them to subscribe for newspapers. And then I went into shoe sales, and then I went into the banking industry, where I would sell loans, mortgages, lines of credits. Then I went into car sales for 3 years, and now real estate for 16 years. I do have a team of 46 real estate agents. We have a little over 11 support staff. I still am a practicing broker, as Jaime mentioned as well. My team in total, we do a little over 650 to 700 transactions a year. Again, I'm not telling you to impress you. It's more to impress upon you where all this data is coming from. Me personally, out of that 650 to 700 transactions, I probably do a little over 200 right from this desk. I'm able to produce a lot of content because the way that I've designed my business, which is not to leave here. It really is I think as a salesperson, we have, our jobs are quite simple. I mean, you need to work hard, but it really comes down to getting the awareness of clients. And that might be first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, smart buyers, as buyers and sellers, meaning if they're thinking about moving up or moving down, or investors. Primarily those 200 transactions that I do a year, I'm going to say close to like 95% are all investors. That's just kind of where I shifted my business to about 7-8 years ago. So, I mean, the questions can definitely come from a content creation perspective, but please, like, feel free to ask me questions. I'm a new agent, Jazz, and what should I do? What do you advise? Like, any of that stuff. When it comes to sales, I suck at 97% of stuff. Like, there's a bunch of shelves behind me here. I needed to get my co-host and my VP, Laura, to put these shelves up. Like, I suck at writing emails. I don't have a computer. I haven't touched a computer in 4 years. I do everything from my phone, because I realized that for me to really do what I like to do, which is meet with people, and that's the job that we have as salespeople, and then help them buy, sell, or invest. My business model is really to educate clients, literally teach them how to buy a home by themselves, sell their own home. Like I tell clients all the time, you don't need a real estate agent. We advise that you use a real estate agent because it's going to make it easier. And we have 1,000 reasons why. We're all real estate agents here. We know why we make it easier and there's less risk. But the truth of the matter is nobody needs a real estate agent. By law, they can do this stuff on their own. They can also Google and YouTube how to sell their own home. They can also Google and YouTube how to invest into real estate. And that's why I decided to create content around those pillars, around leading with education and trying to become the authority in helping people to do that, knowing, and here in Canada the stats are only 2% of people will ever sell their own home. So why are we even worried about that 2%? Let's focus on the 98%. I'm thinking in the States, and somebody here can correct me, maybe as high as 10% of people sell their own home. I highly doubt it's even that high, but let's just say it's 10%. We know that 90% of people use the services of a realtor. They just don't want to be sold to. We know how that feels when we walk into a store and someone says, "Hi, can I help you?" The first thing we say is no, right? And because we don't want to be sold to. And so I think our job should revolve around removing the friction in the process of someone doing business with you. How do you do that? Give them all the information so they can make an informed quality decision themselves. That's how this whole content creation for me started. It was exactly 3 years ago. I had a third business partner. He tragically passed away. He was my mentor for 13 years and kind of like my older brother. He was definitely the one that was in front of people's faces with a radio show. He would go on TV. He would do all of our live webinars, and my role in our organization was to take the leads, get on the phone and call them and meet with them one-on-one. That's my expertise. But when he passed away, it left a gaping hole in our organization because nobody was going to be speaking to people. So the first and foremost, the reason I advise everyone to start with content and why you need to start producing content is not to be a YouTube star. I mean, we're not all as good looking as Jaime, so it's going to be tough for us to become the YouTube star that he is. So this is not to become a YouTube star or like a video star or celebrity. It's to give tools, and this is my opinion, to give tools to your community, your network, your database to either do business with you or really, really more importantly, so they can easily introduce you to their friends, families, co-workers, neighbors. Because how hard is it, right? And think about how much the stars need to align when you speak to someone in your community or your network and you ask the question, "Hey, are you thinking about buying, selling, or investing?" Like the chances of that are low. In fact, the turnover is about 5% every single year. So think about how easy it is, though, to say, "Hey, if you ever needed real estate advice, or if you know somebody who wanted real estate advice, I got a podcast. I have a blog. Go check out my Instagram profile. I would love if you could share my YouTube channel." It's a lot easier. And what happens over time, so you need to have some patience. This is not going to happen after your first video. I think I just got a message a couple of days ago. "Jazz, I did an Instagram live and I didn't get any leads." Like, it's not going to happen that quickly. It's like working out, right? Like if you work out and 2 days later you go look in the mirror and say, "Where the heck are my abs?" Like your muscles are going to laugh at you and say, "What are you, new to this? This takes time. You need to do this consistently over time." So I think that breaking point, and I'm sure Jaime would agree, it's about 18 months, 16 to 18 months when you start to break through the ice, where people start to say, "I see you everywhere." The biggest compliment till this day, and Jaime mentioned it, and it wasn't staged or script. I mean, I think we spoke once about this event and that's it. And so what Jaime said is exactly what we're looking for as agents. "I see you everywhere." Because now I know I got people's awareness, right? And I would rather people see me everywhere than nowhere. And so that's where content creation digitally gives you the ability to speak to anyone you want anywhere in the world. But you don't need to think that far out right now. Right now, I just want you to focus on giving more tools in the toolbox for your clients, the people in your database. And if you're not nurturing a database through a CRM, I hope you don't get mad at me, Jaime, but I would suggest everybody get off this call right now, because forget content creation if we're not even worrying about the fundamentals of having a CRM to house people and to stay in touch with people, because this business is all about relationships. The neat thing is that if you can get yourself to producing content, you can now start the process of building a relationship, start the process of trust before people actually even meet with you. So as I mentioned, I've been in sales and service for 26 years. So for 23 of those years, I've been fighting uphill because I've had to always try to build that rapport, try to build the authority. What has happened specifically in the last 2 years out of the 3 years that I've been producing content is when people come in to meet with me, they're like, Jazz, we already know about the process of, investing with you. We already know that, yes, you only speak about, and this is just my personal opinion, when it comes to investing in real estate, I only talk about buying and holding, because I'm not Nostradamus. So I can't tell you if you buy this home and you flip it and flip this and flip that. Like, that's not the realtor that I am. Not that there's anything wrong with people who do that. And I know thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that make a lot of money flipping, but I believe in the lazy, boring stuff when it comes to real estate, the stuff that's like watching paint dry and watching grass grow, which is buy something and rent it out. Because I've seen millions of people and people that are not as smart as everyone here, just by buying something and holding it, you're going to make money. So that's what I create content around. For those 23 years, always uphill. The meetings were 2 hours long. We all know, like, we've been in listing appointments you should have probably only been there for 30 minutes, but you were there for 2.5 hours because you're trying to sell yourself, which is fine. And I understand. But what happens when you're consistently producing content and sharing it with your network is they already know. So the sale becomes so much easier. Like, I have people walking into this room and saying, Jazz, the only reason I'm here is because I just want to know, can I put, can I buy 2 properties, one under my name and one under my partner's name? That's kind of the conversations you're going to start having once you start to produce content. And if we've all heard the saying that content is king. I'm not a huge gambler, as Jaime and I were speaking off air, but I am a chess player. And I know the most important chess piece is the queen. I think the queen is important in general, but definitely on the chessboard. And if content is king, then video is queen. Why? Because what you're able to do with video is repurpose content at a mass scale. So for example, we're going to take this conversation. Let's say it's 30 minutes long. What I'm going to do with this 30-minute conversation that's now been recorded and I'm going to have access to, and just off air really quickly, I mean, Jaime, make sure that everyone else gets access to this recording as well, because I think everyone should listen to it and watch it as many times as you possibly can. But what I'm going to do with this 30-minute conversation is I'm going to get approximately 15 to 18 pieces of content, of what I call micro content. So I take a macro/pillar piece of content, which is going to be this 30 minutes. And now I'm going to rip the audio out. First step. That's the first thing I'm going to do, is take the audio out. Once I take the audio out, I put it on a platform called Libsyn, which is $15 to $20 a month. I think there's a free subscription to it, but the one that you'll need with some storage is Libsyn, Anchor. There's a bunch of them, but I'm gonna put it through Libsyn, which is an audio platform, which now distributes it to all the podcast platforms that are out there, and there's probably 100 to 200 of them, the iTunes, the Spotify's, the Google Plays. So now I got 2 pieces of content. I got the 30-minute video. I got the podcast episode as well. Then I'm going to take 3 to 5 2-minute to 3-minute video clips of parts where I gave some value, where I feel that others will want to hear about it as well. So that's going to be 3 to 5 video clips of about 2 to 3 minutes. And so now I'm up to approximately 7 pieces of content already. And you're going to, it just gets, you just get more and more content out of it. I said about 15 to 18. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw that audio that I got into a software known as Trint, Trint. And don't worry too much about writing and taking notes. I see people, you're going to start to get hand cramps. Like, I have a bunch of guides that I'm going to give you access to that talks about all this. I want you to get the music of what I'm saying. Okay. So don't worry. I know there's a lot of people there. I'm sure there's some people with a pinky ring that always tells me that there's some engineers here just that want to take a bunch of notes. Just listen to the music. Then the next step is going to be, I'm going to take that into the software Trint, which spits out a transcription of everything that was said. Now, it comes out messy, like the ums and the ahs and all that stuff comes out. And so I'm going to clear all that stuff out, and I'm going to post the transcription in writing, because I know people like to read. I'm going to put that out as a blog, a full blog, and I'll title it How to Create 20 Pieces of Content, for example. And I'll put that on my website. Then I'm going to take some paragraphs or I'm going to take some sentences, which I'm going to use as captions for my Facebook and my Instagrams and more of my Facebooks and my LinkedIns. And I'm just going to put out the writing, because I also, like I said, I know, and we all know, that some people don't want to see videos and images all the time. They just want to see a little write-up. So now we're up to about, call it 10 pieces of content already. Out of those captions, those sentences, I'm going to take only 140 characters, because I know that's what Twitter allows me to do. And I'm going to put something out as a tweet. Maybe 2, let's just say 1. Then I'm going to screenshot that tweet and put it into Instagram's feed, and my stories. So I just screenshot it and I put it into my stories. I also put it into my feed as well. All while, and now obviously I have a team, but I started to do, all this was done by myself, and then I grew over time, and I'll talk about the team and my staff in terms of my media squad. But while this has been going on, I have somebody here who's actually just behind the camera, taking some behind the scenes footage of all this, which is going up into my Instagram feed as well, which is going into my Facebook stories as well. So you can see how quickly you can get up to 15 pieces of content with one 30-minute conversation. Now, I'm obsessed. I love content. It's changed my business. I was doing about 65 to 70 transactions 3 years ago, and I got to the 200 mark, all with content creation. Not necessarily new business, which there's been a lot of new business that came in, but it all went back to the clients that were already part of my network that referred me and introduced me to their friends and family. So there's no doubt in my mind that if there's someone here today, and I'm really only speaking to one person, I just don't know which person it is, because I know there's only going to be one person that's going to take my advice today and actually do something. So I don't know who it is, but I can guarantee you, if you produce content on a daily basis that is valuable, and you don't need to be funny and dance around, which there's nothing wrong with that stuff, but it could just be educational content. You will become the authority in your community. There's no way around it, because that's just what happens over time. And so once I started to get to notice that my clients were introducing me to people, I just went on steroids, and that's where the obsession came. I don't need you to do, like, I produce, guys, 15 to 20 pieces a day on all the platforms. And so I don't need you to do that. In fact, I just need, some of you here haven't done 15 or 20 in your life. So if I can just take you to get to do 15 in a month, I'm ecstatic. And that's all you need to really worry about. So then that begs the question, where do I get my macro piece of content? Well, you got options. So where I would start is either, if you're comfortable, to just turn on a mic like I was, because I wasn't comfortable with video at the start. In fact, I actually was like, I hated the camera. Now I need 7 of them around me. I like it. I like seeing, like, not that I like to see myself. Don't get me wrong. I'm not that person, but I like just producing different angles and all that kind of stuff. But if you're not that person, that's okay. Start where I started, with just the mic, which is just a podcast platform. I do advise that you record it on video, but you don't need to speak to the camera directly. Just speak into the mic. And that's what happened 3 years ago when I decided to produce content, was starting with a podcast. Being in sales for 26 years, as I mentioned, I mean, not that anyone's told me that I have the most sultry voice of all time, but no one also told me that I have a disgusting voice, or your voice sucks, right? And so I was like, I like this podcast thing. And, being of East Indian descent, my mom negotiates over apples back home. It was also free, so it just made sense for me. I was like, this is free, and I can distribute it to the world, and I don't got to pay for anything. And that's where I started, was with a podcast. So your pillar piece, that macro piece of content, could just be a podcast with yourself and you speaking about and educating people about real estate, but also your other passions. Meaning, like, if you have a passion, like I have a passion for sports. I love majority of sports: soccer, football, basketball, hockey. I can talk a lot about sports. I can do a podcast just on sports if I wanted to. But I decided that another massive passion of mine was sales/entrepreneurship, like just documenting the journey. So my podcast, which is, shameless plug, it's Jazz Takhar Podcast, is I speak about 50% real estate, and I speak 50% to my passion, which is entrepreneurship and sales. Now, you need to ask yourself, like, what are your other passions? You might love pets. You might be into fashion. You might love food. You might love, like, specifically just pizzas. I mean, you could just talk about pizzas and real estate. Like, you don't want to make it real estatey and always be the person who's only talking about real estate. Because remember, only 5% of people are turning over at any given time. So we want to cast a net of others to connect with you. Now, some people who might come and talk to you about content will say, keep it niche and speak about just real estate. Look, I think that's their opinion. My opinion is, if you're going to get bored of talking about that, you need a home inspector and you need a mortgage advisor, and, like, this is why you should buy a home. If you're going to get bored of it, chances are you're not going to stick through it. I'm at 159, 100, and tomorrow I come out every Wednesday with an episode. Tomorrow will be my 160th episode. I feel like I've only done 7 because I love talking about real estate, entrepreneurship, sales, business. And so I want you to pick another 1 or 2 passions of yours, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of what I hear a lot from agents around me, and say, well, that they're going to judge me, or they're not going to know I'm in real estate. Well, if 50% of your content is real estate, they're going to know. And everyone does a digital deep dive anyways. Like, if you're talking about your love of baseball hats, which you could, your love of cartoons, people are going to wonder, like, are you a filmmaker? Are you, like, are you a baseball player? Oh no, when they do that digital deep dive, they're going to also realize that you're in real estate. And so you're going to connect with other people who like baseball hats and like cartoons. Imagine you were just doing business with people that are like you and similar to you. That, in my opinion, will give you longevity. And how much fun is that? Like, you're just dealing with people that are similar to you. And so, going back to making sure that you choose a pillar piece of content, if you're sitting here thinking, okay, Jazz, like, there's no way in hell I'm going to turn on a mic and do a show and I'm going to be by myself. Like, I understand why you think content's important, but there's no way in hell that I'm going to do this on my own. I understand that. And so what I would advise, every other Saturday, so I do 4 pieces of pillar content a week. I just need you to do 2 a month. Pick and choose whatever you want to choose. But every other Saturday, I go live on Facebook at 10:30 a.m. and I talk. It's called Brunch with REC. REC is my real estate team name, stands for Real Estate Center. And myself and my business partner, we bring on guys and gals in the industry of real estate, investing, buying, or helping buyers, sellers, and investors. And we just talk real estate. Like, it's all real estate. But here's the coolest thing. I'm hosting. One of the easiest jobs in the world is to be a host of a show. Why? Because you have 4 or 5 questions and someone else is doing the heavy lifting. I love Jaime. I truly do. But look at him. He's sitting there and smiling and just chilling out and relaxing. I'm doing all the heavy lifting right now, right? And if he'll come in, he'll ask me some questions and so if you as a host are just asking questions, and it could be the same 3-4 questions that you ask as a Q&A, you can now take that content and turn it into the micro pieces of content. Remember, if you just do 2 a month, 1 every other week, that's it. We're only talking about 24 pieces of macro content. I've already shown you how you can get those micro pieces of content. Now, I think the only thing that is left is there's something in the back of your head that you're fearful of, either how you're going to look, because you know it's going to work. It's now just probably, well, it's how I'm going to look and how I'm going to sound. And I want you to take this with you. 99.9% of people are not thinking about you a lot anyways. They're all worried about themselves. See, I came to realize that because as smooth as I am right now, this wasn't the same guy in front of you 3 years ago. I sometimes have a lazy eye. I think I came out of my mommy with sweaty hands and they've just never went away. This is my 500th video in the last 3 months, but my hands are sweaty. It happens every single time. I sometimes speak very quickly and I don't articulate exactly what I wanted to. I also wear a t-shirt and a hoodie every single day and do the amount of transactions I do. And so I was concerned about what people were going to think about me. What I came to realize is the second I started to showcase my unique characteristics, and that's what they are, they're my unique characteristics, the world opened up to me. I'm talking to a bunch of people from Florida. Where the heck is my life taking me right now? And that's only because of content. And so that's where I'll leave this conversation, because short of coming to your home and making you do it, I implore you guys, please get started with creating content. And all you got to do is figure out 2 pillar pieces every single month. And as I mentioned, they don't need to be surrounded around real estate all the time. If you have a passion for gardening, go garden. Imagine if you can garden in the backyard and you have somebody on a camp, like with a camera, and you brought in a home inspector at the same time, or you brought in somebody who owns a pizza shop in your neighborhood, and you guys gardened together, and you talked pizza. A, you're going to get a bunch of pizza lovers. B, you're going to get a bunch of people who love gardening, and then C, they're going to really come to learn that you're a real estate agent, but you never shoved the fact that they should buy, sell, and invest with you. If you guys go to my Instagram profile right now, you'll notice 99% of the time, my Instagram profile is Jazz Takhar 13, the number 13. It's my lucky number. You'll notice 99.9% of the time, I never have a call to action. I don't have a call me. I don't really care, because I'm here to educate you and bring you value. I know you'll come to me if you think it was valuable. And if not, that's okay. Because the purpose of marketing is to do 2 things. It's to attract the right people and repel the wrong ones. That's the job of marketing. You want to attract the right people in your world and repel the wrong ones. And so that only happens as if you actually speak to the world. And so I'll leave it there, and I would love to take any questions on Q&A. And guys, you can go very high level or go right into the dirt and the micro of, like, what do you pay this person? Like, I'm an open book. My cup is full. It is a red cup. There is no liquor in here. It's water. It's overflowing, and I just want to give back. So, like, rapid fire anything that you think I might be able to bring value to.
And to unmute yourself, sorry, I gotta
So
pick up, do some heavy lifting myself. Yeah, so I know you're doing the work, so I appreciate it, my friend. You're doing great. And to unmute, you're gonna go to the bottom left. I know that there's some folks that are newer to Zoom. That's perfectly okay. There's a microphone at the bottom left. You just toggle that on and you are speaking. Sorry, Sean, cut you off.
That's right. So, Jazz, like to get started, like you said, if you wanted to pick some sort of medium, whether it be blogging or podcasting, do you have like a simple outline that you would follow or something that you can share with the group to get started?
Yeah.
I'm more of a all right, so I'm more of a behind the scenes guy. Like as much as I think that I want to do video and interview my local gardener, like the local landscaping company or the guy who does the best sub shop, I would love that, but it's just not me, right? That's like a twinlet somewhere else, right? I like being behind the scenes, being behind the computer, and to be able to be anywhere, whether it's South America, North America, and doing it. So, what do you recommend for somebody like me?
Just because I want to make sure I bring you value into everyone else as well. You're a real estate agent. Like, do you meet with clients or do you somebody?
No, absolutely. I do. I get a lot of like I have investors, and then I get a lot of referrals.
Okay.
I'm a public servant, so I get guys from from work also.
Awesome. Look, so you don't want to be in front of the camera. I mean, from the sound of it.
Right. Like in my dream life, I would love to do that, but it's just not me.
Okay, that's fine. Look, I think you can work your way up there. Are you comfortable with the written word? Like, do you like writing?
Mm-hmm.
You do? Okay, awesome. So this is actually, for everyone else as well. I think writers have an edge in content creation for a couple of reasons. But most importantly, because like for me, if like even clients, when they email me, I literally reply back if my assistant doesn't get to it first. When's a good time to get on a call? Like I hate writing emails. I hate them. Okay. And so I actually write majority of my emails in subjects, like to clients. They know that who I am, right? I just write it in the subject line and I get to the point. So the reason I think you have an advantage though, is because there's a medium, no pun intended, called medium.com. If you go to medium.com, it is the YouTube for blog writers. Okay. There's 150 million users a month on medium.com. Okay. It's like you just for everyone. I mean, you get, just go subscribe and it's like YouTube. You just find content creators, people who are writers, and follow them. And so what I would do, and so your name was this Sean?
Sean, yes.
Sean. Okay, awesome, Sean. So what I would do is start a blog and just write the content that you think I would or somebody else would do on video. Your tips, and even if you meet with the pizza shop, just don't record it right now. Do an interview style and put that out as a blog. You want to meet with like whatever those other passions are. Talk to me a little bit more. Let's go a little bit deeper here, Sean. What is some of your other passions? Because I know you love real estate. Put that aside.
Like contracting, construction.
Contract. Okay, awesome. There's like, it's endless, right? Like, I mean, speak to GCs about what they do, tips like me. Like I suck. I told you about the shelves. Like I can't even put this shelf up, bro. Like everybody knows, you do not put a hammer in Jazz's hands. But I would love, I would follow you on medium.com if you can give me some tips, and not the stuff at the end. Call Sean for more information. None of that stuff. I want you to just give me your best secrets, your best kept secrets, almost like you never have nothing to sell. On a side note for everybody, you want to be like a master at sales, never sell your product or service. People will come to you. Just never sell your product or service. That's a byproduct of what happens when you build relationships. The name of the game is to build relationships. The byproduct of what they do afterwards is do business with you. That's just what's going to happen. So to you, Sean, start writing on medium.com. Here's why you have an advantage. Because unlike me, who wings everything, and it works for me, but it's not the best way to do things for a lot of people. And there's probably people watching me here saying, Jazz, you suck. You shouldn't wing things anymore. But you now have built-in scripts. Because the second you do get comfortable with camera, and because look, I like you smiled a couple of times, and I already felt closer to you. Like not lying at it, like no jokes around that. Like the second you smiled, we started to I got a little bit closer to you because you like that's the vibrations that I like. That's the
Oh,
virus
cool.
that I like to put out there. And so when
That's
you
cool.
do put yourself on camera, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have some people who connect with you. And the cool thing is that because you have a passion for construction, that's just going to come out. Like, it's just, you know, I think everyone can tell I love talking to people and content creation. This is not hard for me. It's going to be the same for you when you're talking about construction. And then people
Mhm.
are going to start to ask, what do you really do, bro? Are you a GC? Are you a plumber? Are you an electrician? No, actually, I'm not. Actually, I help people buy, sell, and invest in real estate. But construction is
Okay.
one of my passions. That's the ticket. See, the ticket is for people to say, what do you really do? And well, I
All right.
help people. You get what I'm saying, right? I help people
No, I
buy,
got
sell,
you.
and invest.
So check this out. I know I have a beard, but I'm on vacation right now. But I've been a fireman for 17 years in an urban
Thank you.
city. So I think you're welcome. Um, so how do I incorporate that without being like sleazy? Because everybody says like, oh, you should use it to your advantage. I don't like when they say it like that. It's natural for me to want to help people. So to give people like tips and stuff, like you said, it's just gonna flow, right? So
That's it.
that would be easy, but I want to be able to incorporate that. Maybe I can give some people safety tips because I see a lot of stuff in people's houses that, you know, it's just not safe, or like block stairwells, you know, they don't update their smoke detectors to the city standards, you know, stuff like that. Like, and I know this
Do
stuff
that.
because being a realtor, I know what the updated sealed unit, 10-year sealed units, 2 ABC fire extinguisher, I know that. And people don't have that in their house, especially renters. So
It's a no-brainer,
I guess
Sean.
like
I mean,
I guess I could do that then.
but can I just go deeper again with you? Why did
Mhm.
you mention? Why did you add to that and say without being sleazy? Who's in
Because
your head?
I don't know. I just feel like some people be like, "Oh, you're using that like as I don't know an advantage."
No, look, some will, some won't. So
Mhm.
what? Some will, some won't. So what?
Okay.
That's it. That's it. Like, you just put out the content that you just spoke about, and you're going to have people who connect with you. And some people are going to say, this is boring. Like when you started talking about the fire, not you being a fireman, but like the smoke detectors and all, I know that stuff's important, but I don't
Mhm.
find that interesting. Me,
Sure.
I don't find that interesting. Talk to my wife. She's going to follow you more than she follows me. I'm a little worried about it now anyways, but aside from that, but you get what I'm saying? Like, there's so
Gotcha.
many people who love me, and there's way more people who hate, like, who don't even give a crap about me.
That's gonna be
Right?
normal, right?
It's
Yeah.
going to be normal. So I just talk about what you are passionate about, and there's going to be people who are going to end up searching. Your stuff is very searchable as well. Like like, what do you need to do? Here's the title. How
I've had a
often do I
masonry
need to
company.
change? Right?
Hmm. That's true. I've had a
So
masonry business too for a long time. I gave it up for real estate, but I could talk about that, like how to reset pavers and power washing pavers, and I guess yeah. All right. Sorry. I guess all these things are coming to me now, so I'm
Well,
gonna make
that's the
some notes.
coolest thing with content, right? Because then, what people say, oh my God, like how much time do you spend on creating content? I had that question in my live first thing in the morning today. I'm like, not much, because I'm just document what I'm doing. So like, that's why I love doing stuff like this, because I'm not going to create any content. Like, I didn't have to think about anything here. I'm going to take this 30-minute, 45-hour conversation, and I'm going to rip it into other pieces of content. I'm not thinking about anything. It's just happening because the pillar piece. Look, selfishly, and I'm going to put this out there, I love Q&A. You know why? Because I know if you're asking that questions, others have it, but it also makes it very easy for my team to slice content. Because then you start to think of all these other ways to put out more content. So Sean, I mean, look, just start putting out these blogs. And then what we
Mhm.
can also do with the blogs, and so I can take you can tell me that you want to write as your pillar piece of content. I'll get other pieces of content out of there. So really quickly, just for everyone else as well, you're going to write a blog. It's going to be, I don't know, 500 words, 1,000 words. We're going to take little captions out of that. Little sentences. And we're going to put those on the Facebooks and the Instagrams. Then you're going to put out some tweets, and you're going to, as I remember, I told everybody, you take screenshots of those tweets, put it back onto Instagram. Okay. Then we're also going to put images of you. Like, because you remember, I'm not going to put you on video yet, okay? Because I know you're not comfortable. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an image, and then you're going to take some of that paragraph that you wrote, and we're going to put it on as a what's called, like, as I mentioned, a quote overlay. And then a year from now, 6 months from now, when you're like, man, I'm going to go listen to that good-looking Indian guy, what he was saying that day on Jaime's event, and I'm going to do a video. Guess what? You're going to take that script, and you're going to take that script and say, today I'm going to be speaking about the importance of smoke alarms. Today I'm going to be speaking about the importance of X, Y, and Z. And you have a script. And 17 people are going to watch. 12 are going to say, Sean, you suck because you read it. 5 people are going to enjoy it. 1 person's going to say, dude, I was just thinking about smoke alarms, bro. Like, can you install them for me? Actually, that's not what I do, but I can introduce you to Laura, who can put up the smoke alarms, because what I really do is help people buy, sell, and invest. But thank you for reading my book. That's how it goes.
Gotcha.
I hope I brought you some value.
Definitely appreciate it. I just want last question. Did Laura put up your shelves?
Laura, can you just come into the shot here, please? I told everybody that I put up all these shelves, right? And so they don't believe me. They think that you put up these shelves. This is Laura. She's my VP.
I'm
she
the
also,
handyman as
yeah,
well.
she's the handy woman, I guess.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
She did put up all my shelves. Yes, she definitely did. One funny thing about what I always say about salespeople is the bar set really low for us. And the reason I mentioned that is because you said you were a fireman. I think we can all agree that the most trusted profession in our as humans is firemen and firewomen. A fireman says to you, get the heck out of the house. You don't ask questions. We're trusted, blank, like blind faith. The least trusted profession is salespeople. Where like real estate agents are just like car salespeople. I was both. Used car salespeople at that. I used to do new cars. So I think I'm one step above the used car people. But why I love that though, guys and gals, is because the bar is set so low. You don't need to do so much. You don't need to do too much to just wow people. There's a fantastic book. It's called Raving Fans. It's in 2 washroom reads. If you get what I mean. Raving Fans by an author, Ken Blanchard. Just get that book. It's a book that I read 16 years ago. It's how to provide exceptional service. There's 3 like short story. What are those called? Parables? 3 parables of a taxi driver. Actually, the taxi driver, it's almost like Uber came out of that parable. Taxi driver, grocery store owner, and a gas station on how to provide wow service. It is a game changer. I also should mention just to everybody, to get all my guides and all that stuff, if you take this website down, just take this web address down. It's Jazz Takhar, JAZTAKHAR.ca/vault. VAULT, jazztakhar.ca/vault. It is all my guides that I share with my team. I think once you get in there, you just got to like put in your email address. You'll essentially be getting my newsletter for salespeople every couple of weeks. Again, guys, I have nothing to sell you. It's just I want to give all these tips away. But once you put your email address and name and stuff in there, you're now in my vault. You have access to everything to download. Don't just download the 39-page content guide, which is really like my favorite guide because I love content creation. But there's another 7-8 of guides in there on how to script sales scripts. There's everything that in my opinion, that I think you need. And I would love to get your feedback and opinion on how it went.
Jazz. I knew there was a danger of inviting you on because you're going to far exceed anything I could ever say about content marketing. So I really appreciate that. We have a question in the chat as some folks are going to unmute themselves with further questions. Would this also work with Facebook Lives on my business page? For some reason, I feel more confident with lives than just recording audio for podcasts. It's Karen is asking that question.
Karen, fantastic question for anybody who is video and to you as well, Sean. That's going to be the easiest way, in my opinion, to get over video is that once you go live, there's no looking back. And so you want to go into the deep end. If you're scared of video, the best way to do it is going on a live platform, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram Live. Why? Because you can't press stop and re-record. So to answer your question directly, Karen, 1,000% it's going to work because that Facebook Live lives on your business page after it's recorded. You then can download it and get it onto your computer, and then we can rip off all that other content, which in my guide, I went over it really quickly with you guys, but it's step by step. It's step by step. Guys, I'm so obsessed. I have an animator on my team. So now Jazz is in cartoons. Like I didn't even talk about how you can start to do cartoons and it's not that expensive, but you're going to be able to take that live, Karen, and do exactly what I said. But that is by far the best way to get into video because it's a real conversation, right? And so for anybody who's like fearful of doing video, just remind yourself that when we're in a real conversation, if we were at a restaurant and you had to stop and think about something, you don't say like, Jaime, sorry, can I start all over again? Or Sean, hang on. It didn't come out right. Can I just like walk out of the restaurant, come back in and start this conversation? Whoever you were conversing with would be like, what are you on crack? Like, what are we doing here? Like, can we just chill out and have a conversation? Guys, video's the exact same way. Live is the same way. Like nobody wants this polished. Long gone are those days. They're not watching Friends and Seinfeld. Friends because the reunion. I just thought of that, but that's not what we're watching. We're not. Nobody. People want to connect with you, and the best thing about this, I have 1,300 people in the organization that my team is under. So we're in a company called Royal LePage Signature, which is kind of similar to your guys' KW there. It's Canada's largest franchise. My team of 55 of us, 56 of us are under that umbrella. And agents come back here all the time and say, well, Jazz, why do you keep on talking about all this content that you're doing? Other people are going to do it as well. And I'm like, the pie's big enough, guys. Like we can all eat. And if we run out of pies, we'll figure out how to bake more. And at the end of the day, there's going to be people who only want to connect with Jaime and never want to look at me. And then there's going to be people who only want to connect with me and not work with Sean. That's always going to happen. And so that's the coolest thing with content. Your tribe, which is starting to become the most overused word in 2021, but I'll still use it. They come to you because of the most overused word in 2020, which is because of your authenticity. And the end of the day, the truth of the matter is it's your unique characteristics that they're connecting with, not because you're scripted. The more scripted that you are, I think the longer it's going to take you to connect with people. The name of the game is to just continuously show those unique characteristics. But Karen, again, yes, it definitely works with live. And in my opinion, that's the best way to jump into the deep end.
Jazz, hi, this is Adriana.
Hi, Adriana.
I have a question. I know that you shared some of your favorite like Lips and Anchor, but what are some other like great apps that you can recommend for editing purposes?
For editing purposes, well, Libsyn and those are just distribution tools to get you out to all the podcast worlds. I think Final Cut for all the Apple users is probably the most common one. My squad, even though that they're all Apple guys and gals, they use Adobe Premiere Pro. I think Adobe Premiere is like, I think there's a free version of it, but the Pro allows you to just do have so many more templates, as well as they're just able to store more content. And like now I'm at like, I think I'm a little over 11,000 hours of recorded content. And so we need to house all that somewhere and have easy ways to go back into that content and cut. And so the two most common for video editing is Adobe Premiere Pro as well as Final Cut. And then Canvas has been fantastic for us lately for images. And they're really stepping up their game when it comes to the templates that they're offering. Other apps would be Storyblocks.com. Storyblocks is fantastic for music and videos that are licensed for you to use. So you can use Storyblocks that they give you music and videos that you can incorporate into your video. Because you've got to be careful. Like, you can't take, Beyonce's music and just throw it on a video of yours, because someone's going to come after you, primarily YouTube. And so what you could do is use software like Storyblocks.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking a question. Anyone else, guys?
Can you hear me?
I can.
If I'm interviewing the local bagel shop or the local hardware store, what sorts of questions am I asking in the video, or what am I doing in the video to bring awareness to that business and my business at the same time?
So so first and foremost, sorry, your name?
Oh, sorry, D.
Dean?
D is in David. E.
D. Oh, awesome. My first real estate client bought 16 years ago. Her name was D. Bought $182,000 condo here in Toronto, which is now worth $650,000. She's introduced me to a little over $500,000 worth of commission over that 16 years, all because I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to show her 60 condos, but I did because it was my first client. However, what I did learn is that if you remove the friction in the process, you can build relationships and they can feed you for life. So thanks for asking the question, D. First and foremost, I would say to you, don't go into that video, that relationship to get, go to give. Because the second you go to give, your mindset now is to only help the bagel shop owner. So my first question to the bagel shop owner, D, is D, what made you, and of all things, I love bagels. I truly do. What made you open up a bagel shop? Get their story out, because that's what we all connect with. And the bagel shop owner is going to say, oh my God, my grandmother used to make bagels when we were growing up, and I used to love watching her, and yada, 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 yada. And they're going to go on and off. Why this area? What changes have you seen in this area in the last 7, 8, 9 years? Can you tell me a little bit about what it takes to run a business? Those 4 or 5 questions are going to get you 15, 20 minutes, especially if you have someone like me who likes the sound of their own voice. It's just going to keep going, right? And then just like any other conversation, like D, I have a feeling with that smile on your face that I just saw right now. And I apologize if I ask for everyone's name, because the name on the screen is small. So I apologize for that, but I can see your faces. But D, if you and I were having a drink and I know nothing about you, so when I come to Florida, the drink's on you. You come to Toronto, the drink's on me, okay? But if you and I were just shooting the breeze, I'm going to be like, D, how long you been in the business, girl? 10 years? Oh my God, who do you service? Buyers, sellers, investors? What's the toughest stuff? Like, what was the toughest client? How are you finding the market? What do you like about reels? Like, we could just go on and on. Don't let the camera, or what used to happen to me at the start. For some reason, I used to picture 4 or 5 people watching the video, and they screwed me up, because I was like, oh my God, I wonder what they're going to think of me and what they're going to say. The second I was like, you know what? There's nobody else here. It's just D and I'm here to give. And I just want to learn about D. I'm like Curious George. I'm very, very curious. I like to know about people. I like to know about their journey. Like, I want to speak to Sean more about him being a fireman, because I have a feeling he has some crazy ass stories, And so like that is what we are trying to get out of that video, because you're trying to bring the bagel shop owner the value. You don't worry about yourself, because a couple of things are going to happen, D. See, when you make that video with a bagel shop owner, it's why I love doing videos with business owners. In fact, it just reminded me that I got to do more. Okay, is that you're going to give that video to the bagel shop owner, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to share it with their friends and family, right? And now you just got awareness to their. Let's just say it's not 5,000 and it's only 100, and they're going to share it with their 100 friends and family, and they're going to be like, "Who's that girl that's even interviewing you? Is she a journalist? Like, what is she the mayor? Like, why did she come in and interview you? No, she's some local real estate agent. I know she's a little crazy, isn't she? Like, she just wanted to know about my shop. That's cool. She's a real estate agent, like locally. Out of the 100, you're looking for one person. Not the 99. Hopefully, you're like, well, I kind of like D's style. Out of the 99, 30 of them are gonna like your style, and they're gonna connect with you, and they're gonna see your future content. Okay, so that's one thing that's going to happen. The second thing that's going to happen is you're going to send that video to your network and say, guys, I just went to this bagel shop around the corner. It just opened up, or it's been around for 62 years, and this is the story. If you guys like, go check them out. I made a quick little I made a deal with the bagel shop. If you say my name, they're going to give you, your choice of sour cream with your bagel, right? And so that's how you connect. Do people eat sour cream? Cream cheese, not sour cream. Sorry. Laura's here, just my team's here. Like, dude, you don't eat sour cream with bagels. Cream cheese. And so that's how those relationships happen. Go to when you're creating content, only come at it from the angle of creating relationships. I hope I brought some value to you.
I think if I say sour cream, that'll probably get more engagement.
Oh, 100%. I would actually say sour cream. You don't know how many, like, go watch my videos, some of them. You can tell, like, this guy's weird. And that's okay. Like, I am. I know I am. And so I just want to connect with the people that know my weirdness. Because look, at some point, right? And this is to anybody who again is thinking, oh my God, they're gonna find out about this or that about me. If you're not doing something illegal, then everything else they're gonna come to learn about it anyways. So I put it out to the world up front. I barely passed high school. Barely. I think if my father didn't go talk to my grade 7 teacher, I don't know if I would have even made it into high school. My father begged the grade 7 teacher not to fail me. And luckily, I worked my way into grade 8 and got through high school. So I tell people that, like, I don't have a formal education, clients. You're going to come to learn that, because sometimes I'm still trying to figure out when to use your and you, YOU, apostrophe RE. Like, I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. But one thing I'm going to tell you, client, is that I know how to invest in real estate in the greater Toronto area. And I've helped hundreds, thousands of people make a lot of money. And this is how we've done it. Why am I saying this to everyone here? Because they're going to come and realize at one point something that you're trying to hide. So why not just put that out there anyways? That makes sense, D?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, so we have time for 2 more questions. I want to be respectful of your time, Jazz. So I'm going to take up one of those questions as somebody comes up with the perfect ending question. This is a question I had for you, Jazz, was about, there's several new agents and aspiring agents on this call. I'm not going to put them on blast because they know who they are. But what I want to ask here is, as a new agent or becoming an agent, you're having to learn how to do real estate. You're having to learn how to be a business owner. You're having to learn a lot of items, extracurricular, that a lot of seasoned agents don't have to. They at least have the sense of how to do real estate. So as far as content creation for new agents, what would be, if you're getting into the industry, how would you approach it, knowing what you know now in terms of your content creation, to give them kind of like a little bit of a fast pass?
Yeah, hands down, Q&A show. Hands down, because you, as a newer real estate agent, you don't have the experience yet, and you haven't put enough deals together to come speak from a place of authority. But that's okay. That's okay, as long as you're not lying and saying that you have that authority. And it's really okay, because bring on other industry experts. So I'm blatantly would say, if I'm new to the industry, hi everyone, I'm new to real estate. I just got my license an hour ago, but here's what I'm going to be doing with this new show called the Jazz Takhar Show. I'm going to be sitting down with industry leaders in finance, in home inspections, in the economics, in buying specialists, listing specialists. And my guest today, my first guest, is my team leader. My first guest is a mortgage advisor, and the importance of why, in our opinion, if it is is your opinion, it is definitely mine, that you should work with an independent mortgage broker and not with somebody at the bank. I'm going to be sitting down next week with a real estate lawyer, and she's going to be going through the 3 mistakes that she sees buyers and sellers make. The week after that, I'm going to be sitting down with the mayor and if you can't get the mayor, get somebody at the mayor's office to talk about the new planning, the new applications that have been put in the planning department. And then the week after that, I'm going to be speaking to a business owner as well. So there's no excuse. If you're new, that's actually okay. Put it out to the world. Here's something that I think we can all attest to. In high school, if you think about the cool kids, the cool kids were the ones, generally speaking, the coolest was the guy or the gal that threw the house party. Because we all wanted to get to that house and we all wanted to be around everyone else. Whoever threw the house party was known as one, because everybody spoke about it. Did you go to Jaime's house? Did you go to Laura's house last night? Did you go to Sean's house last night? Like, oh, that was a crazy party. I want you to throw the party virtually / digitally. And you do that by hosting the Q&A. You might not be the person who has all the information, but you're hosting it. You're the one who's bringing it to everyone in your network. You're the one who's bringing someone from the mayor's office, the lawyer. Look, I bring on economists all the time. And I tell people, like, my network, I'm like, I'm not an economist. I have no idea what the heck is going to happen or what. I don't even know what's going on here right now. Like, in terms of values, really, I have no clue. Like, how the heck did we jump 22% year over year? Different than you guys in Florida. In Toronto, we're in a lockdown. We've been in a lockdown. We came out of a lockdown for 2 months or a month and a half. I have no idea. And so I sit with the economist. Can you please explain this? And my clients love it. They know that my job is to bring them opportunities to invest in. That's my expertise. And if you're new, I'm also not saying I'm an expert at negotiations, but I'm part of a team where we have done thousands of deals. So use your team. And this is just kind of sidebar from Jaime's question. Use your team's results. And if you're new, if you're a solo agent, not part of a team, that's okay. You're part of a brokerage. Use your brokerage's results. We have done X, Y, and Z. Take I out of your vocabulary. It's everything is we. We have done this. We're going to do this. We've experienced this. This is what we've seen with other clients. So I want you to just change the I to the we. In fact, if you just get that from all my rambling and soapboxing today, take I out of your vocabulary and turn it into we.
Bam, 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 bam. We have time for, thank you so much, Jazz. Time for one more question. Want to get Jazz out of here at a respectable time. I've already abused of it. So while you're unmuting yourself, so we have comments. Betty, thanks for providing us with your guides. Dave, thanks so much for the great content, Jazz. You're an inspiration. Ariel, thank you, Jaime. That's the exact question I wanted to ask. Boom. That's my first compliment of the session. That's all I need. All right, folks. So one last question. Who wants to take it? And it better be the best one ever. No pressure.
I have a question, if that's okay.
Bridget.
Do you mind? Well, Jazz, thank you so much for all of this information, but do you mind if we rip apart some of this video and use some of it for our trainings?
1,000%. Go crazy. Don't even put me in it. So to answer your question, yes, 1,000%. Do whatever you want with it. Just don't make me dance. I don't like I'm not big on that kind of stuff. So just whatever you do, don't put me on a dancing body. Like put me on a guy that maybe is very muscular or something and put my face on it if you want, but do as you please with the content. But more importantly, I want to bring you guys even more value. And I forgot to mention it. When you go to the vault, okay? When you go to jazztakhar.ca/the vault, not the vault, sorry, just /vault. My team's telling me VAULT. When you scroll down, you're going to see a book that looks like this. It's a yellow book. Okay. It says Real Estate Intelligence. It's a book that I wrote on how to buy, how to sell, and how to invest. It's client facing. Okay. I don't have any business cards. I told you I don't have computers. I also don't have any business cards. This is my business card that I give to my clients. It teaches them how to, it gives them all, like, this is Canadian, okay? And I'll tell you why I say that. But this is the book that I give to people when I meet with them. The authority that I've built just by handing someone a book, I've handed out about 10,000 copies in my career. I think 17 people have actually read it. Because nobody, you know how it is, right? You don't get past the first chapter, generally speaking, in books, but it doesn't matter because they all said the same thing. Wow, you wrote a book? Yeah, myself and my team, we put together how to buy, how to sell, and how to invest. Why is all this important? I want you to take this book and I want you to read it. And then while you're reading it, cross off everywhere there's Canadian terms, because our terms and some of obviously our laws are different than you guys. And I want you to change it to your state laws, rules, and regulations, I guess. And I want you to give it to a printer, and I want you to print it and use it, take my name off it, put your name on it, and hand it out to your clients. Do not lie and say you wrote this book. Say, my team and I wrote this book, because I'm part of your team now. You came to this session. You could look at me as someone on your team. And I want you to hand out this book as a guide and differentiate yourself in the marketplace. It has been one of the biggest tools that I've ever used. Okay? So you go in, you change the guide, you go to the printer. You guys, I mean, I always say you guys in the States because it's like, there's 300 million. There's only 33 million of us. The coolest thing is that you'll probably get this down to $1.25 a copy. I fought for 13 years to go from $13. Now I finally got it down to $3.50 a copy. You'll probably get this at $1. Who knows? I mean, in the States, you might get it for 62 cents, right? Print off. And here's a hack. Not a hack. Here's a secret I want to give you. Because I've seen my 44 agents, 7 of them have ordered it. Please don't make the same mistake. Do what I'm telling you to do. Order the friggin' book. Like I'm not charging you for anything. Do not put my name in it. I want nothing. Because one day I am going to come to Florida and someone is going to buy me a drink there. And it's vodka that Jazz likes, by the way. What I don't want you to do is the mistake after you actually print it, which is don't cheap out and print out 50 copies. Because I'll tell you what happens when you only do 50. When someone asks you, you start to judge the person that asks you, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to give them this copy because then I'm only going to have 49. And this person's probably not even going to buy. Don't make that mistake. Order 500. Give them out like they're business cards. Business cards, you guys are dying to give them out. Here, take my card, right? I want you to do the same thing with this book. Order 500 copies. Guys, if you get them to $1, it's $500. It's the best marketing you're going to ever spend aside from content creation. This doesn't replace content creation, by the way, guys. This is just a different type of content I'm giving you to give away. But order 500 of them and give them out. Order 1,000. I would actually, I always order 5,000 at a time. They're in my car. They're in my briefcase. I have them all over the place, and I give them out to as many people as I possibly can at any juncture. The second they ask me about real estate, that's a great question. I wrote a book on that. Here you go. Think about how I'm slightly differentiating myself. Oh, Laura just is giving me an idea as well. She's saying this is a great idea as well. And it's why I have people who are smarter than me around me. She says, which we do often. You're going to open up the book every day. And I just came to page 39 and it says the mortgage buster approach. And I'm going to read the paragraph and then I'm going to do a video on it for 15 seconds. So it's built-in content topics and tips that you can do as well. Remember I told you the scripts? So remember my boy Sean, I told you to write on Medium. Well, I also have the script here too, right? So I just open up this book and not every day, let me not exaggerate, probably every other day, I open it up, whatever page it comes to. Look, there's no title or anything on this page. And approximately 4 million of homes go on market for sale. I'm going to read this to myself. I got my built-in script. I'm going to post a video. I hope this was valuable today, guys.
Folks, where else are you going to go and spend 60 minutes of your time and come away as an author?
Exactly.
What's
I
up?
love that, Ivan.
What's up?
Yeah, and so I wanted to make sure that I told you, I don't want you to tell people, you tell people what you want to tell people, but I gave you my my, what do they call that, the small fine print of saying, don't say that you wrote it, but just say that you and your team wrote it. We're
love
not
it.
lying because I'm part of your team now.
And he absolutely means it. He's absolutely means it. He's somebody that, we connected on Clubhouse, and that's a common theme on the summit, Jazz. There's just so many high achievers for one, but high givers as another thing, that there's just so much content that you share in without expecting anything in return. So that's just something that I've always admired about you, and just being on the same stages and hearing you speak in different rooms. I mean, there's a reason you are where you're at. So really do appreciate you coming and hanging out with us.
Thank you so much for those words, Jaime. I mean, but I was joking with about the heavy lifting and stuff like that. I mean, I every time I see you in a clubhouse room, I try my best just to hear like what you're giving as well. So kudos again to you, not only for putting this event together, but for the consistent content that you're putting out to the world. We need a lot more positivity right now in the world. As I mentioned earlier, it's the virus that I like going around. And so thanks again for everything that you do, and all the positivity that you are putting out in the world, brother.
Appreciate you. Well, folks, that's it. I mean, we really have to wrap this up, because again, Jazz is a busy man. So really do appreciate you coming out, and everyone's going to get the recording of this. You're going to get this in the audio and everything. So expect an email from me shortly, Jazz.
I would thank you so much. I mean, my team will probably throw this up as a podcast either this week or next week as well. I would love for people to just connect with me on Instagram, and just DM me. I mean, I will always try to bring you as much value as I possibly can. Shoot me a DM, and don't be surprised when you actually, like, it's me. I have a huge team, but no one touches my socials except for me. So don't be surprised if I just leave you voice notes to any of the questions. Like, throw the questions in there, and I just leave you a voice note back. I might not just get back to you right away, but I will get to you. I see it there. I will definitely get back to you. Instagram is by far one of my favorite places to be. So I would love for you for you guys and gals to connect with me there.
And he means it. So folks, reach out to him, connect with him on Instagram. I did drop the link a few comments ago. Everyone have a great rest of Tuesday. Thanks so much, Jazz. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys. Take care.